Shalom, shalom. Welcome to our Saturday Shabbat class. Very excited today. How's everybody doing?
Shalom.
Shalom. Awesome.
Shalom.
That's good. That's good. Yep. So how's the week been? You guys had a good week?
Yeah, I had a good week.
I had a good week as well.
That's good. Yeah, we got rained out here. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get ready to start the lesson. As always, we have a weekday class at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. So if you stumble across this video and you want to know when we meet again on Wednesdays, and then every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. All right. So pass it over to Leonard.
Shalom, shalom. I hope everybody had a good week. I'm kind of excited today because what I'm doing is I found some more information out about the Giants. So I ask you today to tie your shoes up, comb your hair, and brush your teeth because on this Sabbath we are going into the rabbit hole, deep into the rabbit hole. So get your pencil and pen and notebook. Today is a day the Lord of hosts has made, and we're gonna get started. So the name of the topic is the Sabbath class is Giants in the Bible and their effects on Israel and the history. Okay, so started out many people and scholars believe that the sons of God in Genesis 6 verse 2 were none other than the sons of Seth, which was Adam's third son after Cain had killed Abel. So they think that the sons of God is Seth's descendants. Okay, but I beg to differ, and I'm going to explain my cause. And I'm starting out in Deuteronomy chapter 2. The setting in Deuteronomy chapter 2 is the Israelites have been just delivered from Egypt, and they are on their way to the land of Canaan, the land that the Lord of hosts, Michael, have given to their forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. On the way to the land of Canaan, the Israelites encountered a series of nations. And I want to shine a light on these nations, who they are and where do they come from. And by discovering who these people are and uncovering their origin, we will answer the age-old question of who are the sons of God in Genesis 6 and 2. Okay, so in Genesis, we see in Deuteronomy 2, the Israelites encounter a people called the Emim, and that's in 2 and 10. The Horims in 2 and 12. The Zanzum in chapter 2 verse 20, and the Abium and Caphram in Deuteronomy 2 verse 23. They also encounter the Amorites, and they encounter King Og of Bashan in chapter 3. Okay, the Lord of hosts informs Moses that these people are great, many, and tall as the Anakim. He says this in Deuteronomy 2 verse 10, verse 21. So I'm gonna read 2 and 21. Deuteronomy 2 and 21. Says 10 and 21 says, the Anakim dwelt therein in times past, a people great, many, and tall as the Anakim. And verse 21 says, a people great, many, and tall as the Anakim, but the Lord destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead. So when I started, I said that you got a lot of scholars And it's a lot of people that believe that Seth's descendants, Adam's descendants, are the sons of God. And then there's no such thing as giants upon the earth. So if you go to what I discovered was this word in chapter 10, in Deuteronomy 2 and verse 10 says, 2 and 10 says, the Anakim dwelt there in time past, and people great, many and tall as the Anakim. So I went and looked up that word Anakim, and it's the watchers, which are the angels. The sons of God are the sons of God and Nephilim are the same. They're synonymous. So the watchers are Nephilim, and so what happened was the watchers came down from their state. They came down to the earth, and they cohabitated with the children of Cain. And then the offspring of this is a mingled seed, and the offspring is the Anakim. The Anakim is not the angels, but the Anakim are the giants. That's another name. Giants and Anakim are synonymous. Okay, so where a lot of confusion coming in at, this is what happened with the watchers. Okay, but another cohabitation happened. It was Satan was cast out along with a third of the angels before Genesis 1 and 1. So it was Satan and his company, and so they came down. So we know that what happened in the garden with Eve and the serpent. So that's Cain's. From that we got Cain's descendants, which are Cain is of the wicked one, which is of Satan. So these are the children of Cain. So what happened right here was Satan and those angels that was with him cohabitated with Cain's descendants. And that's a mingled seed. Those are considered as that's another seed line in itself. So you got Cain's descendants, and you also have the Anakim, these two different races of people, and you got Adam's seed. So that had to be understood. And so when you go to the Hebrew, it says sons of God in Genesis chapter 6. Let me read right quick. In Genesis chapter 6, it says, now, Genesis chapter 6, hold up 1 minute. Genesis chapter 6 says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men that they were fat, and they took them wives of all which they had chose. The sons of God, when you go to the Hebrew, that is Benai Elohim, right? Well, when you read, you also know that Adam is the son of God. So that's Benai Elohim also. So we got son of God, Adam's descendants, and the angels. They are both by Benai Elohim. But what a trick coming in at is, we know that Anakim and giant are synonymous. It means the same thing. So when you go to Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, it says there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children unto them, the same became mighty men, which are men, which were of old, men of renown. So we see that from the Benai Elohim, which is the angels that came down from heaven and left their estate and slept with the daughters of Cain, we get the Anakim, the giants. And so this is when we see evidence of this all over the earth. Well, it's giants. They find skeletons all over the place, and so that ties right into what we just read right here. So they all over the place. Okay. And so one of the things that I had discovered, I'm gonna go to I'm in the book of Jasher, chapter 5. I'm going to read chapter 5. This is where all the drama started at.
So I got a question before you go there. So earlier you said I want to make sure I understood what you said. So you said it's 3 races. You said it's Cain's race. You said it's Seth, and then you said which came out of Adam.
No, Adam's race.
Well, right. Seth came out of Adam's race. You said there's Cain, and then you said it's the giants that fallen angels came down and cohabitated with Cain's seed. So it's 3 different groups of people.
Right. They're not 3 different types of people. They're not linked together.
Okay.
You know, there's races. That's 3 different races. And so what the main thing to get light to be shined on is this word Anakim. That means giants. So the giants came about from when Cain is a mingled seed. And so these watchers came down and slept with the daughters of Cain and mingled with them. That's how you get the Anakim. So these giants they're all over the place. And especially we know from reading Deuteronomy chapter 2, it's giants everywhere all over the land of Canaan. And so before I get started with Jasher, I just want to shine a little light on something right quick. We always back in the early late 60s and the early 70s, they had this commercial all the time, the Jolly Green Giant, right? And so why the Jolly Green Giant? Well, if you go back to the Bible and understand that the land of Canaan was known for its lush green valleys all over the land of Canaan. Now that's where the giants was at. So this way, this is the terminology of the Jolly Green Giant. It comes from that. And so you say, well, what are you talking about? Well, that's the land that was given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob originally. And so it tells you in Jasher that Canaan, on his way to the land that was given to him by Noah, he came up upon the land that was given to Shem and viewed it, and he stole it. That's why it's called the land of Canaan. But it's actually the land that was given to Shem that he stole it. So that's why later on in Bible history, when he came and delivered them out of the land of Egypt, he took them back to their original land that he had given to Noah. And so Abraham and Isaac and Jacob are descendants of Noah. So all he was doing was correcting the wrong that Canaan had brought about, a father. Mm. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Jasher chapter 5. I'm going to read up till 11 right now. And so it says, chapter 5 of Jasher, verse 1 says, and it was in the 84th year of the life of Noah that Enoch, the son of Seth, died. He was 905 years old at his death. And in the 79th year of the life of Noah, Canaan, the son of Enoch, died. Enos died. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And in the 234th year of the life of Noah, Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, died. And the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared, the son of Mahalalel, died in those days in the 330th year of the life of Noah. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And all who followed the Lord died in those days before they saw the evil which God declared to do upon the earth. And after the lapse of many years, in the 480th year of the life of Noah, when all these men who had followed the Lord had died away from amongst the sons of men, only Methuselah was left. God said unto Noah and Methuselah, speaking, saying, speak ye and proclaim to the sons of men, saying, thus saith the Lord, return your evil ways and return from your evil ways and forsake your works, and the Lord will repent of the evil that he hath declared to do to you, so that it shall not come to pass. But thus saith the Lord, behold, I give you a period of 120 years, if you will turn to me and forsake your evil ways, then will I also turn away from the evil which I do to you, and it shall not exist, saith the Lord. And Noah and Methuselah spoke all the words of the Lord to the sons of men day after day, constantly speaking to them. But the sons of men would not hearken to them, nor incline their ears to their words, and they were stiff-necked. And the Lord granted them a period of 120 years, saying that they will return, then will God repent of the evil, so as not to destroy the earth. Okay, so there's a few points in these few verses I read I want to shine a light on. In verse 6, it says, after the lapse of many years, in the 480th year of the life of Noah, when all those who had followed the Lord had died away from among the sons of men, and only Methuselah and Methuselah was left, God said unto Noah and Methuselah. Okay, so we at a point now where we at the end.
Somebody has a lot of background noise. If you can mute your phone until you're ready to speak. Thank you.
Right. So I'm in verse 5 of Jasher, chapter 5, verse 5 of Jasher. And so it says, all who follow the Lord died in those days before they saw the evil which the Lord God had declared upon them. So we've been dealing with a situation about we at a point now where prophecy is about to overtake us, and we want to know if we're going to get delivered before the Most High judge the nation. And so we see in Jasher 5 in verse 21, it says, 5:21 says, and all the sons of the men who knew the Lord died in that year before the Lord brought evil upon the earth. For the Lord willed them to die, as not to behold the evil that God would bring upon their brothers and their relatives, as he had so declared to do. So we see the same situation right here. We got the relatives. And right here, they had relatives. So he came and he dealt with the righteous first, and then he brought mayhem on the wicked and their relatives, their wicked relatives. So he says there's nothing new under the sun. And so another example of that is in Jasher chapter 80. This when he judged Egypt. Jasher chapter 80, verse 37 and 38. Okay, it said, at that time, the setting is that they in Egypt. Joseph had told them that Most High was going to come and visit them and deliver them from their oppressors in Egypt. And so it came to pass. When Moses showed up and everything was started, all the events started taking place. It said, at that time died many of the people of Israel who had rebelled against the Lord and who would not hearken to Moses or Aaron and believed not in them that God had sent them. So we see right here, Moses and Aaron is the ones doing the talking, but back in Noah's time, it was Noah and Methuselah. Says and who had said, we will not go forth from Egypt, lest we perish with hunger in the desolate wilderness, and who would not hearken to the voice of Moses. And the Lord plagued them in 3 days of darkness, and the Israelites buried them in those days without Egyptians knowing of them or rejoicing over them. So we see right here, he came to deliver his life, but he judged their relatives in the process. So we should expect nothing different than what's getting ready to happen now. We have to be taken out, and then he judged Israel. Then he judged our oppressor. I just want to shine light on that. So then another verse was.
So, so just looking at this, if I'm somebody that's reading this for the first time, it would almost read as if, like, just because they didn't want to listen to what Moses and Aaron were saying, that God killed them. But we know that it's not just because they wouldn't listen to them, but it's because they were doing wickedness.
Well, that's understood. That's already understood. Wickedness on the earth. That's why the flood came.
Right.
Right.
So I'm just saying, as far as if somebody that doesn't understand, the and they're just reading this for the first time, it would seem like he just killed them just because they wouldn't listen to Moses. But
it says right here. It says Joshua chapter 5 says 7. Speak ye and proclaim to the sons of men, saying, thus saith the Lord, return from your evil ways.
Right.
And forsake your works, and the Lord will repent of the evil that he would declare to do to you, so that it shall not come to pass. But thus saith the Lord, behold, I give you a period of 120 years. If you will not turn to me and forsake your evil ways, then will I return away from the evil which I do, and it shall not exist, said the Lord. So what we see right here is, I keep proclaiming over and over again that what recompense means. Most High says that what you do is going to be put back on your own head. So we see right here in verse 8, he says, for thus saith the Lord, behold, I give unto you a period of 120 years if you will not turn from your evil ways. So people on the earth they wicked. So being that they wicked, he says, then will I turn away from the evil which I would do. So he's recompensing evil on them, evil for evil. So whatever you're doing, he's gonna recompense it on you. So that's what so many people today don't understand. Before you do something foul, you should understand that whatever it is that you're doing is gonna get recompense back on you. But a lot of people don't understand that. Just like spring, summer, winter, and fall, same way. When spring comes, you know what's coming next. And when after fall comes, you know what's coming next. So the same thing right here. When whatever wickedness you got you doing, he's gonna recompense it on you. That's one of his characteristics. And another example of that is Deuteronomy 28. He says they was worshiping idols in the land of Canaan and other gods, so he scattered them into the other countries, and now they're worshiping other gods. Mm-hmm. He recompensed it on their head. So anyway, move on. So my thing is this: if you go to Genesis chapter 6, and this big because it's. I know with me, you read it and then you see it, but it don't really have no you get no connection from it. So it says Genesis chapter 6 verse 3, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So you say, why 120 years? Well, here we go, right here, chapter 5. Verse 6. Verse 8. He says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I give you a period of 120 years. If you will turn to me and forsake your evil ways, then will I also turn away from the evil which I do to you, and it shall not exist, saith the Lord. So Methuselah and Noah spoke, verse 9, and Methuselah and Moses spoke all the words of the Lord to the sons of men day after day, constantly speaking to them. So they did this for 120 years. Turn it back to, go to witness to that is 5:21. He says, and all the sons of the men who knew the Lord did in it. Hold on. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, verse 4 says, verse 11 says, and the Lord granted them, here you go, 5 and 11, and the Lord granted them a period of 120 years, saying, if they will return, then will God repent of the evil, so as not to destroy them. So this is where he granted the 120 years in 5 and 11, which is pertaining to Genesis 6 and 3, where it says, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 125 years. So he granted it right here in Joshua 5 and 11. But you won't get the gist of that because of, the book of Joshua ain't in there. But I'm shining the light on it now. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue to reading on. I'm gonna continue reading in chapter 5 of Joshua. Say Noah and his, verse 12. Noah and the sons of Lamech refrained from taking wives in those days and begot children, for he said, surely now God will destroy the earth, wherefore then shall I begat children. And Noah was a just man, he was perfect in his generation, and the Lord chose him to raise up seed from seed upon the face of the earth. And the Lord said unto Noah, take unto thee a wife, and begat children, for I have seen the righteousness before me in this generation, and thou shalt rise up seed and thy children with thee in the midst of the earth. And Noah went and took a wife, and he chose Naamah, the daughter of Enoch, and she was 580 years old, and Noah was 498 years old when he took Naamah for wife. And Naamah conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Japheth, saying, God has enlarged me in the earth. And she conceived again and bore a son, and called his name Shem, saying, God has made me a remnant, to raise up seed in the midst of the earth. Right? So I want to stop right there. This is one of the things that was revealed to me. Okay, so it says that we did a lesson on twins. Two boys born. Well, we see right here in the book of Joshua, Ham ain't even mentioned. It's got Shem and Japheth. And so the light I'm shining is this. Right before the flood, Noah was the only man that was left perfect from that hadn't been mingled or hadn't been defiled through genealogy. So we're at the same point where Adam was. And so Adam needed a wife. So he put Adam to sleep and got Adam a wife, and then that's when they cohabitated, and that's how they got Seth. I mean, that's how they got Abel. And then so we look right here in verse 13 of Joshua chapter 5, verse 13, and Noah was a just man, he was perfect in his generation, and the Lord chose him to raise up seed from his seed upon the face of the earth. This is the same situation with Adam, because he's the only one left. So look at this, 14, and the Lord said unto Noah, take unto your wife, same with Adam. He went and made Adam a wife, put Adam to sleep, and made him a wife. Then he gave him the commandment, and begot children. For I have seen the righteousness before thee in the generation, and thou shalt raise up seed, the same commandment, and thy children with thee in the midst of the earth. And Noah went and took a wife, and he chose Naamah, the daughter of Enoch, and she was 580 years old. So same situation. So this the gap from, we see it was two boys born in the garden, Cain and Abel. Then right here we see two right here. Ham ain't in here. It's not in here. That's something, I mean, that if you want to go down another rabbit hole, you can do that, but it's only Japheth and Shem. Same situation with Noah. I mean, with Adam and Eve, with Cain and Abel. Then, you had Cain and Abel, and the next person that we had dealt with was the two boys, Joktan and Peleg, after the flood. But we see right here is two boys right here. So that's something you can, if you want to search it out, you can search it out. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep reading. 18. And Noah was 502 years old when Naamah bore Shem, and the boys grew. See, same thing. In Genesis it says, and the boys grew and went into the ways of the Lord, and all that Methuselah and Noah their father taught them. Right? It says, and Lamech, the father of Noah, died in those days. Yet verily he did not go with all his heart in the ways of his father. And he died in the 195th year of the life of Noah. And all the days of Lamech were 720 years, and he died. And the sons of men who knew the Lord died in that year before the Lord brought evil upon them. For the Lord willed them to die so as not to behold the evil that God would bring upon their brothers and their relatives, as he had so declared to do. In that time the Lord said to Noah and Methuselah, stand forth and proclaim to the sons of men all the words that I spoke unto you in those days. Peradventure you may turn from their evil ways, and I will then repent of the evil, and I will not bring it. So I want to shine light on something else. In Zechariah chapter 4. Okay. This is shining a light on, making more clarity to the fact about the two witnesses. Zechariah chapter 4 says, find it right quick. Zechariah chapter 4 says, I'm going to start at verse 11. Then answered I and said unto him, what are these two olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And 12. And I answered again and said unto him, what be these two olive branches, which through the golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then the angel said, then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand before the Lord of the whole earth. So what he's pertaining to is the high priest and the king that go into the Holy of Holies once a year. But we see right here, he got two right here. Is Methuselah and Noah. This long before the temple was even brought into existence. And then we see in these last days, there's two coming. In Malachi, go to Malachi. In the last book of the Old Testament, it says, I'm going to start at verse 1, chapter 4. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do it wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of a stall, and ye shall tread down the wicked. For they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this. For the Lord of hosts, said the Lord of hosts, remember ye the laws of Moses, said my servant, which I commanded unto him in Hebrew, all Israel, with the statutes of the judgment. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children of the fathers, and the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth. So we see Elijah ain't came yet. So Elijah is one of the people that's coming, right? Well, who the other one is? Isaiah, chapter 11. So I'm gonna start at verse 9. They shall not hurt nor destroy in my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day, the same day in Malachi, there shall be a root out of Jesse, which shall stand for the insight to the people. To it shall the Gentiles see, and his rest shall be glorious. We know Jesse is David's father. And so when Samuel went to Jesse's house to anoint his son, we found out that he anointed David. So verse 10 is letting you know that David he's coming back in the last days. Ezekiel 37 tell you the same thing. Ezekiel 37 and let me read it right quick. I don't want to leave you hanging. So Ezekiel 37 and 25, 23 says, neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and I will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them. And they shall all have one shepherd, and they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. So we see right, it's nothing new under the sun. He had two right here. He had way back before the flood, he had two anointed ones standing before the people, proclaiming to them what they needed to do, and the people didn't listen. So I'm going to pick up in Joshua 5 and 24. But the sons of the men would not hearken, neither would they incline their ears to all their declarations. So same thing we know happened then, happened in Egypt, and it's going to happen right here when it was getting ready to happen. They're not going to listen to what the Most High got to say, because they ain't trying to hear what he got to say. 25. And it was after this that the Lord said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, on account of their evil deeds. And behold, I will destroy the earth, and do thou take us unto the gopher wood, and go to a certain place, and make a large ark, and place it in that spot, and thou shalt make it 300 cubits. Okay, yeah. So we see that he nothing new under the sun. He got a system that he got in place that he always he changed not. It tells you that he changed not. Yeah. So anybody got any questions so far?
I had a question earlier, but I had a little technical difficulty with my phone. What was the significance of pointing out that Ham was not present when Japheth and Shem was born?
Well, we've been dealing with that over and over again, and we know for a fact that Ham is the man that's in Genesis with the woman in Genesis 1:26. So when you understand that, we know there was no need to mention him right there.
So is it also saying that Ham was not a son of Noah, as we have been taught?
Right. Well, see, that's the significance of what I was saying about every time at a crossroad. There's a crossroad right here. And up until this point, I don't know about nobody else, but me, I'm digging and I'm searching now, and it baffled me because it never was. You never saw, you won't see there's no two sons at the flood. But lo and behold, we see it is. So it was at the crossroads right after the flood. We had Joktan and Peleg, right? Let's look at it in Genesis chapter 11. Yeah, Joktan and Peleg, and what happened was we know that one of them wasn't right. See, said descendants of Shem, and chapter 11, verse 10. It says, these are the generation of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and he begot Araphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begot Araphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. And Araphaxad lived 530 years and begot Shelah. And Araphaxad lived after he begot Shelah 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Shelah lived 30 years and begot Eber. And Shelah lived after he begot Eber 403 years and begot sons and daughters. And Eber lived after he lived 430 years and begot Peleg. See that? So you go back over, if you go over to back to 10, back to chapter 10 of Genesis, verse 21, it says, unto Shem after the fall, so unto Shem also the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, and Lub, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mesh. And Arphaxad begot Shelah, and Shelah begot Eber, 25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. See that? And the name of one was Peleg, and in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Jotham. So there go 2 boys. We know that when you keep on reading that, chapter 11, which nobody does, but I'm gonna show you now. Chapter 11 says, and the whole earth. See, they still talking about Jotham and Peleg. They listen. In 26 it said Jotham begot Shelah. Okay, but they listen Jotham lineage right here, and they can go on down to 32. But in the original text, there wasn't no numbers, wasn't no chapters. So you got 32 says, these are the families of the sons of Noah after their generation in their nation, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. And the whole earth was one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, they, who is they? Jotham, Jotham's lineage, journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and they dwelt there. So they ended up in Shinar. Well, let's look at that. Abraham brought Lot with him. And then their herds got so big, they had to separate. Well, Lot ended up in the same place. Mm-hmm. Abraham was in another place. So now when you go back here, we see his 2 boys was born. Jotham ended up in the plains of Shinar. But if you go to verse 27, chapter 11, verse 27, you see that we in the Peleg lineage, verse chapter 11, verse 17. And Eber lived after he begot Peleg. This is the other boy. 430 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years. You keep on reading, Peleg, Abraham in 26 come out of Peleg. And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Noham, and Haran. Abram changed to Abraham. He's out of, okay. We know the story of Abraham, he was righteous. Mm-hmm. So if you go back over here to where I was just at with these 2 boys in Jasher, yeah, we know that Shem is the righteous one. Mm-hmm. Japheth is the Greeks. They wicked.
Mm-hmm. I was looking here in verse 17, and his mom says something interesting, which, you could say, why would she say that? So it listed Japheth, and it says, and Naamah conceived and bare a son and called his name Japheth, saying, God had enlarged me in the earth. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Shem. But look what she said. God has made me a remnant to raise up seed in the earth. Why would she say that?
Right. Well, we see where it's a wicked scribe, and he continuously taking stuff out to make it say what they want to say, but with the light shined on it, we can see there's more to the story than what it is. And that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So
now, can you just? I'm still stuck on Ham.
Right.
So, when we were taught that Shem, Ham, and Japheth were Noah's sons, what was the wicked scribe trying to do in adding Ham to Noah as a son?
Well, see, what Christianity is and two situations. In Revelations, he tell you when they bring JC on the scene, we know he's an idol, but he said that they was looking for somebody to open the little book up, but nobody could open the book. And then he said, so all the souls that was under the throne from all nations and all kindreds. So what he doing is he didn't put everybody together from one lineage, one bloodline.
Okay. Okay.
We see that's not the case. That's a lie, because we see that we got the Anakim that's on the earth. Anakim, the giants, they came forth from the Watchers sleeping with Cain's lineage. Cain's lineage came about from the serpent sleeping with Eve.
Okay, so that answers my question. So the wicked scribe is actually trying to blur the lines of the nation of Israel and include people that should not be included. Right,
and hide his seed. They're trying to hide the wicked seed that's on the earth. And so another way to discern that in the future, the Most High don't deal with melting pots. Satan deals with melting pots. Satan want everybody to mingle together. But the Most High tells you all through there, I chose these people over here, I took this man over here and put him over here, and I put that one over there. He's a separatist.
Right, and then he even said to the nation of Israel, do not allow your sons to marry their daughters, or their daughters to marry your sons. Okay, all right.
Right, and so he's saying that for a reason, which is I'm telling you that it's DNA, it's genetics. He don't, and it's the origins of these other people. He don't want their DNA mixed with the people that he created and made.
Right. I'm also thinking, and then I'll yield. I'm also thinking of in the New Testament, when we, back in Christianity when I was a part of it, Paul, when Paul said he was sent to a certain group of people and that they did not have to be circumcised as the original people, that they were going to be grafted in. That too, to me now, is a part of the wicked scribe trying to blur the line of the Most High's division of his nation of people and people that are wicked.
Right. That's right, because he don't want nobody to he can't deal with no mingled seed. You got a problem with it. And but they from day one, they was outside of the knowledge of the Most High. So they always wanted to deal with the knowledge of the Most High. They was outside of it. So this right here is where they was able to come in, or when they got hotel records, when the Greeks came, they was able to write themselves in there. And they got, they have all people, all nations, and all kindred, not knowing there's a wicked seed on the earth that's against everything that the Most High created. And that's why they put them. That's why they put all these boys together and making them like they Ham. I mean, they Noah's sons, but they not Noah's sons. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and like you said, Jeanette, for me, that was always my question in Christianity, because, I love to read. I've always, I don't read as much as I used to, but when I was younger, from my teenage years all the way up to being a young adult, I was always reading. And so I read the Bible a lot, all through it. And that was one of the things that I saw. When I'm reading the Bible, I'm saying, man, it seems like this God has been trying to gather a group of people to himself, but they kept rebelling against him.
Right.
So at the time I thought the New Testament was it, and but even in the New Testament I saw that he wanted us to separate. Even as a Christian, in my mind, I said it's still about separation, and so because I thought I was a Gentile, and living in this world, I said, man, I'm looking at all of these Christians, and there's a blurred line, because you say you're a Christian, but you're into everything else that the people that aren't Christians are into.
Yes. And
that was one of the things that bothered me, because I'm like, how are we separated? The only thing that we're separated is the fact that we got baptized and we say we believe in Jesus. That's the only thing that makes us separate. It just didn't make sense to me. So that was always a big question. When I'm reading the book, I'm seeing that we're not supposed to be voting, we're not supposed to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. But everybody else is like, no, we're supposed to be doing this. So that was the confusion for me, But now it makes sense.
Exactly. I know you guys have done a teaching on, how the nation of Israel was asking for a king. Right. And it's like to ask for a king when you have the Most High, as your Lord, is to deny his authority and his power and his plan for his people. So all the things that we participate in the earth, in America, in terms of electing officials and that need to rule over us, that's the law of the land. That's not the law of the Most High and his chosen people.
Right.
And so we get caught up in politics, and then another thing that we get caught up in is we get caught up in love, because we say, even though the Most High says, do not allow your sons and your daughters to marry those pagan people, we say, but how can you put limits on love? The Most High ain't concerned with that.
Right. Right. So a prime example of that is, which I keep continuing to saying over and over again, was that the process they have in the church is a person, a man or a woman, can get a divorce, and then next thing you know, they go into the church and they go into the church looking for a wife. But that's contrary to the Most High laws. So yeah, you in the church trying to find a wife, but the Most High ain't trying to get you one, because it ain't lined up with the order that he got in place. That's the order they have in place, but that's not how it works with the Most High. So that's you contrary to what the Most High doing.
And so even as the topic that you started out with today, and then I promise I'll be quiet. So the topic that you started out with today, identifying these three groups of people that are very different, and that you have to really look at it to see if they're lining up with the order of the Most High, or are they going against it? Like I forget the terminology that you used when you said that it means that Adam is a son of God. What was that terminology?
Benai Elohim.
Benai Elohim.
Right.
So Benai Elohim means what? Son of God?
Son of God, but we also know that Adam is the son of God. So Benai Elohim applies to Adam just like it do to angels. But when you understand that, you have to read into the scriptures and understand which one he's dealing with, because he says that we see Israelites all over the world today. They sleeping with women. Ain't no giants being born. So he said that when an angel, he told the angels, you are eternal beings. You don't need to sleep with no woman, because you're eternal being. You don't need to. So when they transgressed and crossed over this, when they slept with a woman, that's how you get a giant. So in Genesis chapter 6, we know it's two Benai Elohim, but when you get to verse 4, it says that as giants were born. So right there, let you know which one he's talking about. He's talking about the angels.
So the angels are also called Benai Elohim?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah. So you got that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so what I want to plug this in right quick. I want to get it in before I forgot. We know that the Most High changed Sarah's name, and we know that the Most High changed changed Abraham's name, right? And then he changed Jacob's name. But right here in Jasher, let me find it right quick. Jasher chapter this just something that you need to know. Jasher 49 verse 14. You know, you can look at it on your own time. Yeah. Jasher 49 verse 14 says, and the angel rose, this right before Joseph was brought up out of prison. It says, and the angel rose, aroused him from his sleep. And Joseph rose up and stood upon his legs, and behold, the angel of the Lord was standing opposite him. And the angel of the Lord spake with him, with Joseph, and he taught him all the languages of man in that night. And he called his name Jehoshaphat. So he changed Joseph's name. Joseph's name was changed. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Joseph's name was changed. This right before he was exalted. So anyway, I'm back to the lesson. I wanted to share you that because when I saw it, it was profound to me. But so where I'm at now, like I was saying in the beginning, after I found out so much information, I see now it's going to have to be a part 2 to this. So the last topic for the day in part 1 is I'm going to show you how that in Jubilees chapter 5, and start reading at verse 1. It says, when this pertains to the same thing I was just reading in Jasher. It says, and when the children of men begin to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, same terminology in Genesis chapter 6. The angels, let me start again. When the children of men begin to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, and the angels of God saw them on a certain year of this jubilee that they were beautiful, and they took themselves wives of all of whom they chose, and they gave birth to their sons, and they were giants. So this kills right here. They tell you exactly what we're dealing with. The 2, because of them, lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way. Men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walketh on the earth were all corrupted in their ways and their orders, and they began to devour each other. Lawlessness increased on the earth, and the imagination and thoughts of all men were particularly told evil. God looked on the earth and saw it was corrupt, and all flesh had corrupted its order, and all that were on the earth had committed all manner of evil before his eyes. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I want to shine light on something before I go on. We know in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, what it says. It says, I'm shining light on the wicked scribe. Trying to give you a little better insight. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. So it says, Genesis 1:26 says, and God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. So why is it saying that? He said, God, which is singular, let us, but it said us make man in our image, after our likeness. We know that this is Michael and those 7 angels, and those 6 angels. These are the 7 angels that sit before the Most High throne. They're the ones that's looking down upon the earth. They're the ones that's regulating everything on the earth and in heaven. And so you go to Genesis chapter 11. And I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and the whole earth was one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And when they had bricks for stone and slime that they and for mortar, and they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name lest we be scattered abroad upon the whole face of the earth. Here go the verse I'm getting to. No, okay. It says that, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men building. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them they have imagined to do. The verse 7, Go to, let us go down. This them again. Mm-hmm. So they the ones regulating everything. So now let's go back to Genesis, back to Jubilees. And I'm at verse, I'm gonna read it again, verse 1. When the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, and the angels of God saw them on a certain year of Jubilee, that they were beautiful, and they took them wives of all whom they chose, and they gave birth to their sons and to their and they were giants. Because of them, lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way. Men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walked on the earth were all corrupt in their ways and in their order, and they began to devour each other. Lawlessness increased on the earth, and the imagination and thoughts of all men were continuously totally evil. So now, right here, verse 3, based on what we just read over in the other two situations, we know right here, this them right here, God. Mm-hmm. But it's these seven angels, not God, looked at the earth and saw it was corrupt. And all flesh corrupted its order, and all that were on the earth had committed all manner of evil before his eyes. So we see they right here. They the ones doing all the regulating. But they wanted you to think it's God, singular God. But we know it's them. Because they the ones, every time at a crossroad, like I said, they show up. There's seven of them. Anyway, so the light I want to shine on right now is I want to, before I close this, it says that in verse 2, because, okay, in verse 1 it says they gave birth to sons, and these sons were giants, which is the topic of this lesson, which was the Anakim. So before that, the earth was in fairly good condition. But after these giants were born, which is contrary to the Most High whole creation, then verse 2 says, because of them, these giants, these Anakim, lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh, as animals, all flesh was corrupted in their way. They're not doing what they were doing before, that he created them to do. So men, look at what it says, men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walked on the earth were all corrupt in their ways and in their order. They began to devour each other, right? Lawlessness increased on the earth, and the imagination of thoughts of all men were potentially total evil. So let's look at that. So we know that these giants was eating people. They was eating people. They eat flesh. So the Most High had created man long before that. So man had multiplied on the earth. So when these giants came, they contrary to that, their abominations, they trying to eat the people. Okay? Well, we know when Cain was born, when Abel was born, and Abel was a keeper of sheep. He kept herds, right? And with David, when Samuel went to go find David, he was keeping herds. So let's look at it. So he says in chapter 2, in chapter 5 of Jubilees, verse 2, because of them, these giants, lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh was corrupted, men, cattle, and beasts. So cattle, you got herds of cattle. You got the oxen, all these animals, these herds. Well, what was David killing? David was killing lions, tigers, and bears because they were trying to attack his herd. Well, this is where they came about. The lion, the tiger, and the bear is contrary. They trying to kill the herds. So what's the purpose of the herds? The herds is to supply the people that the Most High they formed on the earth. So these lions, the tigers, and bears is contrary to just like the giant is. They attacking the herds. They came about with these Anakim right here. So he tells us right here in verse 2, because of them, lawlessness increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted in his way. Men and cattle and beasts, birds, and everything that walketh on the earth were all corrupted in their ways and in their order. See? So what they've been showing us on the wild kingdom and all that, this order was set in place from the beginning. No, it wasn't. Because in the beginning, he said everything was good. What no lions, tigers, and bears, predators attacking stuff and eating it up. Because it wasn't for them. It was for mankind. And so you say, what are you talking about? Well, let's look at it. Go to Isaiah chapter 6 after we get regathered and we back in the land of Israel. Look what happened.
Isaiah?
Yeah, Isaiah chapter 6. I'm starting at verse 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted to thee. That's to the Israelites. To the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels, see that? Shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and the ephah, and they shall from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth their praises to the Lord, to praises of the Lord. And the flocks, a Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee, and the rams. See, all these flocks are here, but ain't nothing there to go up against them. Why? He said the lion gonna be eating straw. These predators gonna be eating straw. That's what they were doing from the beginning. But when these angels came down from their state, they turned the whole creation upside down. You got lions, tigers, and bears, predators that wasn't even existing then. Now all of a sudden they're attacking and killing and devouring flesh just like these Anakim doing. So that's something to ponder on. Yeah. So anything?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, when you look at, the last part of verse 2, we know that historians and, when you go to museums and stuff, you see all these dinosaur bones and all these big, huge animals, and they try to tell us, 1 million, trillion, billion years ago, and all this foolishness. Well, we know if an angel cohabitate with a woman, you get a giant, right?
Right.
But if an angel cohabitate with a lion or a bear or a fish or anything else, you get a giant fish. So dinosaurs and all these big birds and all this stuff, that's what they were doing.
Right. So on that note, that's one of the things by these angels leaving their estate and putting it on their mind to go and cohabitate with women. The Most High changed their countenance. They became perverted. So they was cohabitating with animals, beasts of the field. They was in the sea. So, and that's what all this stuff came about. So I want to give you something that you can do some research on right quick. It's a word called ELJO. It pertains to the giants.
ELJO.
What they are all we know and what most people deal with is the giants, the human giants that's on the earth that we know existed. But these angels were sleeping with animals, and they were sleeping in the sea. These half human, half animals. That's who that is. Those are the ones that was causing all the havoc on the earth. The reason why the flood had to come. They call them ELJO.
Okay.
Right, so you can do the research on that. So that's why the flood had to come. They the ones that were violent because they were seriously an abomination because they was animal flesh mixed with human flesh mixed with angelic beings. They was terrible, horrific. And that's the main reason. The main reason for the flood.
Okay, I have a comment.
Okay.
I would like to read something from the book of Enoch that I think has a connection to this. Okay. And if you guys can help me make the connection. Okay, in my book of Enoch, I'm starting at chapter 15.
Okay.
In the book of Enoch, and it reads, what's happening is, in the book of Enoch, Enoch is being shown all the things about heaven. And so when those angels went down and cohabitated with the daughters of man, they realized that they was in trouble with the Most High, and they sent Enoch to talk to the Most High, to ask the Most High to pardon them. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay, and so this is where I'm starting the reading here, where they have sent Enoch to try to talk to the Most High to forgive them or pardon them for going down and cohabitating with those women. It says, this is Enoch talking. Then addressing me, he spoke and said, "Hear, neither be afraid, O righteous Enoch," because every time Enoch, would encounter, one of the angels, he would kind of like fall down and tremble. So they're telling him, don't be afraid. "Thou scribe of righteousness, approach hither and hear my voice. Go say to the watchers of heaven," which is those wicked angels, "who have sent thee to pray for them, you ought to pray for men and not men pray for you." Okay, number 2. "Wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heaven which endures forever, and have lain with women, have defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, have taken to yourselves wives, have acted like the sons of the earth, and have begotten an impetuous offspring." Number 3, "You being spiritual, holy, and possessing a life which is eternal, have polluted yourselves with women, have begotten in carnal blood, have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are flesh and blood do. These, however, die and perish. Therefore," and then number 5, "Therefore have I given to them wives, that they might cohabitate with them." He's talking about what he did for men. So he says, "Therefore have I given to them wives, that they might cohabitate with them, that sons might be born of them, and that this might be transacted upon earth. But you from the beginning were made spiritual, possessing a life which is eternal and not subject to death forever. Therefore I made not wives for you, because being spiritual, your dwelling is in heaven." Now, number 8, I think it's going to be my last one. "Now the giants who have been born of spirit and of flesh shall be called upon the earth evil spirits, and on earth shall be their habitation. Evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh, because they were created from above, from the holy watchers was their beginning and primary foundation. Evil spirits shall they be upon earth, and the spirits of the wicked shall they be called." So, help me understand that. Hello?
I'm still here.
Okay, did everybody else get cut off?
I'm still on too. Maybe they did.
Okay, did anybody that heard that reading, can you do you have any insight into that? I was trying to make the connection of those evil spirits, those angels that rebelled against God and came down and cohabitated with women. I don't know what happened to Lynn and them, but maybe I'll just wait and see if they come back on. Got a little bit of interference when you're having a phenomenal study. Leonard? Kevin?
Yeah, I'm going to try to dial him in.
Okay.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you
Yes.
guys were gone.
You're back.
Yeah, is everybody on the line?
Yes.
I'm here.
Yes, we're here.
We lost you.
Leonard?
We have lost you again.
That's strange.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello. No, I don't know what something happened on the computer, so I'm calling on my phone. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, well, I was going to answer that question, but she was saying was that those angels came down when they left their estate. They came down and they was, I told you, the Most High made them perverted. So when they went into women, those giants wasn't, the Most High didn't have anything to do with those giants. Those giants came about contrary to the Most High will. So that spirit was created upon the earth. It didn't come from heaven. But when he created Adam and he created the man on the sixth day, he put a spirit in him. That spirit came from him. It's from heaven. That's why when a man died, that spirit goes back to whence it came, to the Creator. But the giant spirit, because they was created upon the earth in wickedness, when those giants died, that spirit stayed here. It's been here ever since. And so that spirit or those giants are what we know today as evil spirits. And so they just like when they was alive, they was attacking mankind and fighting and causing all kind of mayhem. That spirit doing the same thing. It's called it's offensive against the people that the Most High created. And so it's going to be like that until the Most High come back at the judgment. He's going to judge those spirits and judge those angels, fallen angels, and everything on the day of judgment.
I want to take a stretch on this text, and then you can tell me if I've gone off in left field or not. Okay, when we think about what those angels did, like the very thing that they did to go against the Most High's order had to do with intimacy. It had to do with sex. It had to do with lust. It had to do with not having self-control over their sexual desires. All right. Yeah. So is that a connection to all of the pervertedness that we are dealing with today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all of us. Well, I'll just speak for myself, so I don't. But most of the time, when a person goes astray, or a marriage goes astray, or a relationship gets messed up, it's because the person's intimacy or sexual desires it gets messed up with pornography or queer, gay, lesbianism. All of that stuff is the core of why the world is the way it is. Is that a connection to that?
Yeah, it's got to be connected to it. So like I was saying before, you hear the phrase, it makes sense now when you hear it again. But people say, you hear some Israelites say, and Most High would say that it's all Israel, not Israel. Okay, what are you talking about? Well, you go back to the flood. Reason why he chose Noah because Noah was the only one left perfect in his generation. So let's look at that. So he said that in the last days, in Isaiah 44, 1-5, he's gonna pour his spirit out on mankind, but the spirit is gonna affect the seed, Jacob's seed. It's only gonna affect Jacob's seed. So the problem is that what the intermingling is done, which goes back to the reason why I titled it, the title of this class, the way I titled it, is the giants, which are the Anakim, and what they did, how they affected history, and how they affected the Bible. When they came about, they turned everything upside down. And they haven't been corrected yet.
Right, because I used to wonder so hard and so long, where did homosexuality come from? And right. Of course, in my studies I found they have some island called the Lesbo Island. Well, that just didn't make sense to me, because I'm like it has to have originated from some place that has the ability to affect a person's nature and desires. Right. And so when you talk about, I mean, come on, for real. If I'm not getting out of line with y'all's program, what do other people think about two men together? Two women together? How in the world can that be acceptable by the Most High?
Right.
Why would the Most High make me with ovaries and everything to make a child, and then I fall in love with a woman and can never, and even women that can't have children? I'm just saying, I would just like to know if it's, I would like to know the thoughts of other people now that our eyes are being opened to where this pervertedness has come from.
Right. So let's look at it. The answer is right there. When I tell you that they said that they start mingle Japheth with Ham and Shem. So we know that when we track back and do the research on it, that Japheth is the Greeks. Right. And so where the Greeks dwell at? The island you just talked about. They dwell on islands. So it's telling you indirectly. So anyway, then we found out later on that it's the Greeks that came that ran the Israelites out. The third beast. And so then we find out through history that they were the homosexuals. Right.
See? They were really big on the body and working on the body. And they also, the first Olympics in my study, Olympics, the athletes were naked.
Right. And so what they don't tell you, back to the Greeks, is that when activity had already came, and when they came, when the Romans was there in Jerusalem, they already had an amphitheater there. The same thing you just talked about the Olympic Games. So it was already a gymnasium next door to the so-called temple that was supposed to be holy. It was a gymnasium there. So if it was a gymnasium there, then they naked. They walked around in that naked. Them Greeks. Them not Israelites. Them Greeks and Edomites. So that killed the story right there.
But they don't tell you all that. It was when they got there, it was an amphitheater. It was a gymnasium next to the temple that Herod built.
Mhm.
None of that had nothing to do with the Most High. So that couldn't have been Israelite.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so we know what they were doing. Those are Greeks. They believe in same sex. The men with the men, women with the women. That's who they are. And so why are they like that though? When the Most High church came, he took the melanin out of Cain.
Mhm.
The melanin is what they call in the day. They call it dark matter, which is the DNA that's in the man that he formed. He just took it back. He took it back from when Cain killed Abel. He took that from Cain, and that's in white. That's what leprosy is. That's why so many laws against leprosy in the book of Leviticus.
Mhm.
Right.
And the melanin also in the study of melanin allows you a greater ability to communicate spiritually.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and that's why we have to be careful with some of these occults or these groups that call themselves connecting to the Most High. They connecting to something spiritual, but it's not necessarily the Most High.
Right. So let's look at that. When you look at that, you say, well, he gave the Israelites. Like I was saying about the flocks and the herds, the flocks and herds was given to them. So why would he create vows and lions, tigers, and vows to be eating them? If he created them for them, that don't make no sense. So the melanin is for us. He did with our prophets and our kings and our forefathers through dream division, where the melanin is connected to the pineal gland that's in the brain. That's how he deal with it. So if he took it away from a race of people, then what would they do? They want to get hallucinogens, and they want to get incentives and all this type of stuff. Well, that's what the angels did. The false angels came and showed them how they could go into the spiritual realm. Showed them how to go and get marijuana and how to get all this different stuff and hallucinate.
Right. I'm gonna try to find that, because I read about that in the book of Enoch, that those fallen angels that came down and cohabitated with women showed them all of the dark, the dark ways of communicating. And this was kind of like a blow to me, but those angels also told them about makeup and how to paint their faces to be attractive. And so it's really, it's really an eye opener, and you really understand that a lot of the things that we do, including myself, we do it without the true knowledge.
Right.
Those, for example, putting on makeup and you have to ask yourself. I have to ask myself. I'll try to keep it personal. I have to ask myself now with this understanding: am I putting on makeup to receive a compliment from a man? Because then that leads to the whole lust thing. You know what I'm saying? It leads to why we're so out of whack with our spirituality. Not our spirituality, our sexuality.
Right. So imagine this. Imagine this right here. Imagine this right on the same thing he's just talking about. Imagine this. Looking at it from the perspective that we know now. Imagine a woman that's married, and then she's leaving to go to the mall or something, and she's putting on makeup.
Right.
Man, that.
Exactly.
So that's how backwards they got us fighting.
Right.
So anyway, so to shine a little more light on what you're saying is, these angels came down to women, not to men. So what they did was turn the Most High order upside down. They gave these women knowledge that the men on the earth that the Most High had didn't have.
Right.
So what is that? Witchcraft. That's what witchcraft is. The craft is the same craft that was in Egypt. It's the same craft. That's what I was explaining in the video That's where the angels in Genesis 6 came down. It was Egypt. So this mystery system that's in Egypt was called the craft. So where you get witchcraft from? The women that they cohabitated with, they gave them the craft. That's how you get witchcraft.
Yes. Yes.
So they succeeded the woman up over the man by giving them that knowledge, that forbidden knowledge, that occult knowledge. And so the man got to go to them with the men that's been separate from the Most High. The Israelite, the Hebrew didn't have to do that because he's dealing with the Most High. But the other men that was in Egypt especially had to go to the woman. She was giving them, that's why they're saying the woman is God.
Right. And also, again, the woman being taught the wicked craft of using her body,
right,
unlike the Most High intended,
right.
You know, to manipulate the man, as opposed to being subject and allowing the man to be her covering. She now has been given wicked knowledge of how to use her body and her appearance to manipulate the man, and it's very prevalent, and you know, and I have been guilty in ways, but you understand that messes up the order of the Most High. It messes up the family. It messes up the community. It messes up the state, the nation, the world, because you now got, makeup. Okay, without makeup, drag queens don't have a leg to stand on. You with me?
Right.
Okay, and so these women, these men or these transgender people would not be able to fool a man. First of all, they would not be able to look the part that they're trying to be without the use of makeup. So makeup, not used to bring glory and honor to the Most High, is used as witchcraft, like you say.
Right. So how are they able? So how are they able to continue to do this up until today? Like I was saying, they done told you that everybody proceeded forth from Adam. Everybody came from Adam. That's why they stuck Japhet and over there with Adam and saying he's a Noah's son. Because that way nobody don't know that it's a wicked race of people. They wicked on the earth that have nothing to do with the Most High.
Right. And what we've done,
if you knew that, you'd be looking for them, and then you want to know how they operate.
Right.
You know. So, but by them saying everybody proceeded forth one blood from Adam, you don't think it's a wicked seed on earth.
Right.
Then they took out the story of what happened in the book of Enoch, because they don't want you to know that. So that's how they created the world that we live in today.
Right.
Void of the knowledge, void of the true understanding, and so man can't get his way. He can't find his way back to the Most High because they didn't hoodwink him.
Right. So the path that the path that he takes, according to the wicked scribe, always leads him short of the Most High.
Right. Exactly. Right. And then you lacking knowledge.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
The Bible says that we perish for a lack of knowledge, but what I didn't understand is the degree to which
Right. Well, you have people that find it out, but they want to say that it's an error here and an error there. No, it's a wash with error. And so I'm gonna give you a simple example is the fact that Daniel said that the spirit entered into him. When the angel came, he entered into him. Well, the evil spirit. They're the same as angels, they evil spirit. Well, the evil spirit can enter into you. So when you understand that, then you're supposed to find some kind of way how to keep it from entering into you. How can they hear you? You know, but people don't see it like that. They see they got a whole other thing going on with an understanding of how that operates. Yeah. But that's simple.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just wanted to ask this question before I have to go. You said that the spelling ELJO
Right.
is a race of angels that did what?
No, they're not angels. It's a product of angels. So you get the Anakim, which is giant. They're not angels. The Anakim are the result of an angel came down and sleeping with humans. Well, they was perverted. They became perverted once they left their state and committed that act of going into a woman. They couldn't ascend no more to heaven no more. So they became perverted. So they ended up out in the field running down antelope and running down giraffes and cohabitating with them. So then you got these beings that came about. They giants, but they had giraffe and had had antelope. And they was even in the ocean, messing with the whales and all that. So those nobody knows about these beings though, because half of the people don't even want to deal with the giants that's on the earth. Let's not talk about these beings. Well, these the beings that was eating the people. They had animals. See, and so in the book of Joshua, it's mentioned that this guy came upon this man half bull, which is what they talk about in Greek mythology, the Minotaur.
Right.
And he killed him. Eliphaz, I think his name was Eliphaz, that got in the fight with him. But anyway, so these beings, which is ELJO, are a whole other race of beings besides the Anakim.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so another thing you have to understand about that is you got different levels of that. A lot of people think that angels came down, slept with women, and got the giants. But the people that the Most High dealing with in Genesis 6 is like a third generation. Because you had the angels came down and started messing with Cain's lineage. Right. Then them was bigger giants. Then from they start intermingling with those giants and got the ones that in the land of Canaan.
And so you got a generation of giants that are committing bestiality.
Right. But like I was saying before, what you just read, that he told Enoch to go back and tell them, no, I'm not gonna give you no second chance, because you being holy and life eternal, you don't supposed to come down and mingle with women. So he put judgment on them, and he had all those angels bound. Okay, well, when he bound those angels, the source or their height was taken away. So they weren't as big and as tall as the original giant, because the source was taken away.
Okay.
So now they're not as tall as the original ones was. That's another generation that you're dealing with.
Okay, so when he bound, the original angels that disobeyed him and came down and cohabitated with the women, once he passed judgment on them, they were bound.
Right.
And so now, so now, then you have their offspring, which do not have. In other words, they don't have the original seed that would make them straight from the original giants. That's no more, because they are bound. Now their offspring, which are a lesser,
right.
In other words, a kind of a lesser seed, but still a giant seed.
Right. Example of that is Esau. Remember, Esau despised his heritage, and he went and he married those Horite women. That's how he got. That's how he got Eliphaz. That's how he got Amalek and Zephno. So those they giants, but they ain't like the original giants. That's another generation of giants. Because
Okay.
that's a human that slept with an Anakin. But the Anakin
Okay.
came about from an angel sleeping with a woman.
Okay. All right. That makes
Right.
sense. Uh-huh.
Okay?
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, what you guys were just talking about, I got, I'm going to read that. This is Jasher 61 and 15 about the half man, half animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says, and Zepho went, and he saw, and behold, there was a large cave at the bottom of the mountain. And there was a great stone there at the entrance of the cave. And Zepho set the stone, and he came into the cave, and he looked, and behold, a large animal was devouring the ox. From the middle upward, it resembled a man, and from the middle downward, it resembled an animal. And Zepho rose up against the animal and slew it with his sword. So this thing was big enough that it was eating an ox. You know how big an ox is.
Wow.
So the half man and half animal. So they told us that this is mythology, and it's Greek mythology. It's stuff that supposedly came from the gods and all this type of stuff. So we see who the gods are. The gods are the fallen angels.
Mm-hmm.
And so right here in the book of Jasher, you see this is a witness to the wickedness that was going on that they told us. It's the gods of these people gods. I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. And then, Zephno is Esau's son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we also understand the depth at which they have deceived us, because I've always seen in different places, sometimes on TV, a half horse with a man body at the top.
Right.
And I didn't, I just chalked it up as, exactly being mythology or fantasy or something like that. But with the understanding of these books that they left out of what they call the canon, these books are the books which would bring us into the full knowledge.
Right.
Of what we're dealing with and what happened. And I'm just thinking about for the longest time when in Genesis it said, let us make man, and we were taught that was God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
No.
Now that we understand there were 7 angels created, we understand who the let us, we understand the us.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that out, so we can see that it's actually in the scriptures.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna go in the Q&A before we close. See if anybody got any questions before we close out. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions?
I have no question.
Okay. AJ, you got any questions?
I do about the 120 years.
Okay, what is it?
So when you're saying the Lord said, well, when the verses say he gave them 120 years, are you saying like 120 years in preparation, or what does that mean?
No, it was some of the stuff we were just talking about. It was mayhem on the earth. So the Most High he didn't want to bring the flood and wipe everything out like that. So he gave them 120 years to get it right. And so.
Okay.
Yeah, Methuselah and Noah preached. Yeah, I don't tell you this, but Methuselah and Noah preached to them for 120 years, and they didn't submit.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And I want to shed a little light on something else too that you need to know is the fact that he made a promise to Methuselah that he was going to live until the flood.
Mm-hmm.
He had told Methuselah a long time ago the flood was coming, but he said, you're going to stay alive on the earth until the flood comes. So the same day, the self-same day that the flood came, Methuselah died.
Hmm.
Right. A lot of people don't know that.
And so even in the without these scriptures like Jubilees, Jasher, and Enoch, when you go into the regular Bible, and we know it was rewritten, when you see the 120 years, you wouldn't know what that's related to.
Right.
You would just think, oh, God said a man can only live 120 years. But if you read the scriptures, that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
But they took these books out so you wouldn't understand what those 120 years were referring to.
Right. Yeah, they was living 900. They was living 900 years or so up to that point, but because of their transgression, and they wouldn't hearken to what he was telling Noah and Methuselah, he reduced the lifespan down to 120 years, based on the 120 years he gave them to repent.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I had a question about an earlier lesson.
What is it?
The study was great today. You made reference in one of the other videos, I'll get the name here in a second, that talked about the Messiah. And I think it was 2 Samuel 5 and 8, where you referred to, I think it was David that said he despised the crippled and the lame, and Jesus came forward and was healing the crippled and the lame.
Right. Let me see. We know David is the Messiah, right?
Right.
Okay.
Not disputing the point. I just if you could explain why he would make a statement that he despised the crippled and the lame.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to get into it. I'll wait till he finds it, but just kind of talk around it. It's interesting that you brought that up because that's something that goes hand in hand with what Jeanette was talking about earlier, blurring the lines and blending everything together. And so when it becomes exposed, you see that everything that's written has a significance. But because, we were born, into the New Testament, and, in my Bible, I think the New Testament starts on page 700 and something. And so you start at the back of the book, and then when you read something in the front of the book, you just kind of read over it because it's, everything's about one love and one people, and everybody just, sing Kumbaya and
right.
But there's something very significant about why David decided to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to ask a question. From in 2 Samuel chapter 5, we know that David is the Messiah, right? So David has came to the point where he's getting ready to take Jerusalem. It wasn't called, David named it Jerusalem. It wasn't Jerusalem at first. It was named after this it was a city named after this giant before it was called Jerusalem. And so, chapter 5, verse 6. And the king and his men, and so when you understand how the place is set up, Jerusalem is it's got a lower part of Jerusalem, and then it's got a high part. And then what David did was he built a wall around the whole thing. That's the wall I was telling you about that Daniel prophesied about in 9:25. He said Messiah and the wall. So anyway, so it says, so when David and them got there, that was a giant stronghold. And so when you understand about all the defects that people have, when you're a giant, it's a defect that causes you to get that height because it's a growing disease. And 9 times out of 10, they have brain tumors on their brain. and they have all kind of ailments. So that's where the lame and the blind came from, because we know the Most High made the Israelites in Adam person. So you know, how would you have a lame and a blind person? The lame and the blind come from those defects from mixing angelic DNA with human DNA. So when David get there, all these misfits and all them all up on top of the wall, but David and them can't get there because the wall's so high. So I'm going to pick it up in verse 6. And King David said to his men, when they went to Jerusalem unto the Jebusites, these giants, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, except thou take away the blind, the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither. Thinking David cannot come in. They think he can't get in there because of the wall. Then 7. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is the city of David, same place the city of David today. And David said on that day, whosoever getteth up to the gutter and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame and the blind that are hated of by David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, the blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So they killed the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So those are defects from what the Most High said not to do, from intermingling. Angelic beings sleeping with humans, these are the defects of it. Degenerates, a blind and lame and all that. That's another reason why people, when you understand that, that's another reason why the flood had to come. They was all over the place.
So he saw the blind and the lame as a offshoot defect
right.
from
why he hated them. He hated them because the Most High hated them.
And it's only one race of people that predominantly produces.
And so I want to shed a little light on something else. I can talk about it later though, but go back to when David killed Goliath. So when you go read the story, Goliath had to have a dude lead him to the battlefield. So that means there was something wrong with him. And then he said, "Come, he said, why you coming with 2 sticks?" Well, David had 1 stick. He see 2 sticks. And then he told him that he was going on. He said, David got that sling. That sling is he got to get up close on him with the sling. And then that thing, that's a deadly weapon. So David was in the advantage. He wasn't in no advantage. He had all kind of problems. When go read it. The dude had to lead him out to the battlefield, and all you got to do is look at all the giants today. They all got defects. They bad knees. They all of them have that growing on their brain where they can't design too much.
Mm-hmm.
They always got surgery and all that. They back then they couldn't have no surgery. So he tells you right there that he had to have a man lead him on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
See,
so what was the person that was asking the question? They were saying something about an offshoot. I didn't fully understand. He was saying
that was me saying offshoot.
Well, yeah, I was just adding that. I mean, today, are you making connection even today with a lot of the defects that we're seeing today? Right.
Yeah. So let me explain that.
Can I?
In the beginning, when he
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted him to finish what he was saying about the offshoot and the connection of the defects today. Did you finish your sentence?
Oh no, he's going there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to say that historically, black women were made to sleep with white men who were deformed and retarded, and these children were produced with defects because there were not most of the time when I was growing up, I never saw a black child in a wheelchair talking about scoliosis or curvature of the back or anything like that. When I was growing up, I never heard of, black children committing suicide and all this kind of stuff. It was in my lifetime, there has been a progression toward black children having these kinds of diseases. And in my study of black history, there was a time when black women, slave women, were made to cohabitate with retarded white men to produce these retarded white men to produce these deformed black children.
Right.
Of course, we know that we have wicked scribes, but we also have wicked scientists that when they call themselves giving us vaccination, they are actually giving black people diseases and causing deformities and stuff. Okay, that's my part.
Right. But the original thing before today's technology and all that was that the source of the lame and the blind came from disobedience to the Most High. When angels came and slept with men on the earth or women on the earth, those are the defects. And so an example of that is, like I say, they're always putting all this in the movies. If you watch the 300, you notice that they talk about how strong and powerful the Spartan men was. Well, those Spartan men, all the kids that was born defective, they threw them over the side of the cliff. They only kept the strong ones, and it was way more thrown over the side of the cliff than it was they kept. Because of that mutation from intermingling giant DNA with humans, and then that, even to the day they have a recessive birth rate because they can only have 1 or 2 good kids. Yeah.
Okay, so if we also look at that, Jesus came healing the sick and the lame, and so there's a story in the New Testament where this child was brought to Jesus, and I think he was either blind or lame, and somebody in the crowd asked the question, is this kid lame because his parents were disobedient?
Right.
Or what? And so then the result of the story is Jesus speaks up and says, no, this child is lame so that he was lame or he was blind from birth so that God can get the glory by Jesus healing him. You with me?
Right.
So that all of that, Jesus' whole ministry, if what you are saying to us, these defects and this lame and blind and all of this stuff came as a result of this disobedience of these giants and all that, then Jesus' whole ministry of healing the sick and the lame is an affront to the Most High.
Right. That's my point. That's the reason I put it in there. But I mean, I didn't think that many people were gonna catch it, but some people called it. But that's the reason I put it in there, because it's total opposite. When you find out who the Messiah is and who's not the Messiah, we know that David is the Messiah, and David's soul right here tells you in verse 2 Samuel 5 and 7 that and 8 is that David's soul abhorred the lame and the blind. Mm-hmm. So why would he abhor the lame and the blind? Because the Most High abhorred the lame and the blind. Mm-hmm. That was the purpose of the flood.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the ministry of the televangelist. I'm just trying to bring it to today. Right. How this wickedness is perpetuated. Particularly Benny Hinn and people saying that, and I actually, if you guys could comment on this, so a person who calls themselves a minister, and they are claiming that a person's limb grew back,
right?
Or they're claiming that, people come up in wheelchairs, and then they take the wheelchair away, and the person walks. Okay.
That's godly.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, well, like when I was a Christian, my thoughts were, well, sure, God is all powerful. God is almighty. Right. He can make people get up out of a wheelchair and walk, but without the proper knowledge and understanding, right, as we are getting from this Bible study, you just all in. You like, oh my God, yes, God can do that.
Right. Well, it's the same with the virgin birth.
Right. Right.
Same thing with the virgin birth. We see now the Most High got a problem. He had angels that he had created, that he had locked them up in darkness for messing with women. So now all of a sudden he's gonna send his Holy Spirit, which is the angel, to come down and put a seed in a woman. It's gonna make no sense. It's crazy.
Right. Right.
So we go ahead.
I'm just saying, when you think about it with the proper knowledge, this almighty God who set the sun in the sky, the stars, created everything, needs a little mortal woman to bring a savior.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like he it doesn't make sense now that you understand that he has an order, and he even have laws that he himself won't break.
Right. Yeah, well, he's bound by the law.
Right.
That's where the trick come in at, is everybody want to say he's all powerful, can do what he want to do. No, he gave us, we got laws and statutes and judgments that he's bound by. It's like he got a covenant with David. Well, he can't just do anything he want to do with David, because he got a covenant with him. He got a covenant with Abraham. He can't do anything he want to do. He's bound by the covenant and bound by his law.
Right.
That's what they're not understanding. And that's why he keep asking the question to those men when he's dealing with them. You ask them, am I not righteous? So what do you mean? Didn't I do what I told you I was going to do? Didn't I stick to my word? Didn't I stay on the straight and narrow? He can't do what he wants to do. Yeah. But that's a way out. That's a way out when the truth comes. They want to say, they want to get out of it by saying he can do what he want to do without dealing with the information and dealing with what's there right before you. You see that it ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's their way. That's their way out. They escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do we see in the world today that has come down from the giants?
Well, you got people now that's tall. Like I read in there in Deuteronomy 2 and 10 and 21 was, he said people are great and tall. So that's all you got to do. You got to look for the trait. You know, that's like people don't understand. That Akhenaten, that one of the pharaohs, the Tutankhamun, they were tall. So as soon as you see tall, and you got a proper understanding of the scriptures, you already know what they are. Or for example, the reason how I found out that Genesis chapter 6 happened in Africa was that in Genesis chapter 10. Let me read it right quick. See, all these giants, how you identify these giants, they got I am on the end of their name. You know, the Ludum, the Enum, the Horum, they got the I am on the end of their name. Well, look right here in Genesis chapter 10. It says, Ham's lineage. I'm starting at verse 2, 12. And resident between Nineveh and Caleb, the same is a great city. And Mazarine, this a giant. But it's also one of the names of Egypt. Mezarine. So Egypt is named after a giant. Mezarine begot Ludum and Anum and Adam. So all the way from verse 13 to 20 is awash with giants. They tripping over each other. So it's giants all over Egypt. They took that out. So that's why it's Egypt is so great. And they reference the Egyptian civilization so much, them giants. And then when you go to look on the wall, on the relief that's in the tombs, they show you that. They draw some of the men way bigger than the other ones. They show you on the relief on the wall. Mm-hmm. They got a video called Egypt, the Land of Giants, part 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that a connection to the pyramid?
Yeah, they built them. That's what I'm saying about the video. On the video, everybody trying to figure out how they move these big old blocks. Well, they showing you on the video the giant with 2 of the blocks on his shoulder. On the video. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, you said we recognize the giants today by their height, how tall they are.
Right.
Well, I mean, what's tall? Because I'm 5 feet flat, and tall to me would be anybody over that. So, what would you define as tall?
Well. See, it's not. You can say tall. That's just one of the characteristics. But like I was saying, what happened is, which a lot of people don't associate it to it, but it's the reason why when you have these people that they 7, 8, 9 feet tall, and 10 feet tall, they say they can't stop growing. Well, that's part of just like how did we get in America? We in America because of the curses, the Deuteronomy 28. Well, that's the curse. That's one of the curses that came about from when the angels came down and slept with the women. The person just keep growing and growing. It's a defect. It's a curse. It's on them. And so when you see that, you already know what it is. But it's also all different types of other things that you have to characteristics you have to pay attention to. It's not just specifically tied to the height, because you got to remember the source was taken away. That's why back then, if you saw one of them, you know who he was because they were so tall. But because the Most High removed the source that was doing it, the angels, the fallen angels, and bound them, then they got smaller and smaller and smaller to the day. And then you had so many people attacking them and killing them until now you don't see them. But you can look, you can find, you can pretty much figure them out by their sources. And so another one of the things is, you might want to tie your shoes up, but those giants were faggots. Back then, they was homosexual. That's a direct characteristic of angelic beings mixing with women. Perverted homosexuality. So you say, well, what you talking about? When Adam, when he formed Adam on the ground, well, he had to perform surgery on Adam, and he took a rib out, which means essence, the female essence. He took it out of Adam and put it on Eve over here. So when these angels came down, there wasn't no surgery performed on them. So that's where a lot of it's coming from.
Wow.
That's where it's coming from. So you got, and so it's a race of people that you got to pinpoint that's like that. And we know that the Greeks, it's the Greeks. Point blank.
That seems that is so profound to me that you would juxtapose Adam needing the surgery of taking that essence out of him and giving it to the female, and then these disobedient angels who did not have that surgery.
Right.
You know
and so why not? Why not? Because what he told them, you are eternal beings. You ain't got to perform the surgery on you. You ain't thinking you ain't going to go down there and start sleeping no woman. You're eternal beings. So he didn't have to do that. But they came down, and so now here you go, you got a woman, and then you fuse this angelic this angel is fused in with her, but the work ain't been done on him. So then now you got this twisted up person. That's where it comes from. Because there's no other justification for it when a grown man with testosterone in him look at another man and won't talk to him. It's got to be that.
Okay, so I wanted to do a follow up on with the same question that that the young lady asked. So what height today would be abnormal if it was a connection to the giant? What, like 7 feet or you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I'll put it like this here. If you walk up on somebody and you say, "Wow, you tall," I'll give me some binoculars to keep my eye on. That's the best way to explain that.
Wow. So we have a lot of giants in the NBA and in the NFL.
Right. But they got height, but you know what I'm saying? You have to like I say, keep an eye on them. Keep watching. Mm-hmm. We weren't able to do that in the past because a lot of this information wasn't revealed. But now, like I was saying, now you're watching. You got to watch now because you got more information.
Okay, so we're looking at children because I've seen where they have children, 8, 9, 10 years old, 14, teenagers that exceed 6 feet in height and are still growing.
Right. So what they tell us, if we that for one thing, let you know, be at the end time.
Right.
See, and so we at the end time. Then he said that he told Enoch to tell those giants that he's gonna watch them kill their offspring first. He killed their offspring first. Then he said, "I'm gonna bind you up in darkness, in feathers and feathers." And then after 70 generations, I'm going to release you again. Mm. So you start seeing some big niggas walking around here, see like smacking, then they'll let you know something.
Some big people?
People.
So would that be the return of the giant, as I've heard it said?
There you go. But like I said, you got to just get your binoculars and keep your eye on them.
Okay, because I know somebody personally who's over 7 feet tall. He's just like 7'1".
It's a lot of them.
Yeah. But I don't know them personally. I only know one that tall, and every time I look at him, I'm like, wow, that's abnormally tall to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, that's a sign. Like that's how the most operate. He operated sign. He said he put the sun and the moon and all that in the sky for signs. That's one of his characteristics. He operated off a sign.
Yeah, and his children, as teenagers, they were like 6 feet in height, and I'm like, the tallest kids, but they are tall children.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna cut this out, but you ain't got to get off the phone. We already passed 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
You can stay on the line though.